Right, El Classico.
Yay!
Sony versus Bose.
The WH-1000 XM6 that just came out a couple of weeks ago, and the Bose QuietComfort Ultra.
Namaste, we're DHRME.
Do you hear me? Sony's better for some things, Bose definitely better for some other things. Make a choice at the end, which ones we prefer, but they have a lot of things in common. Let's start there and just check that off quickly.
Let's do that. First of all, advertised battery life is 30 hours with ANC on both. They're both foldable. They are both around the $450 price point. Not cheap, but they are flagships. The ANC is the same on both, tier S, and definitely up there. Transparency, same story, tier S. Legit.
Yeah.
And there's stuff like multi-point, a wear sensor, an app, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But what does the Bose do better than the Sony?
Well, you said that the Bose and Sony have similar ANC and transparency, but one thing the Bose has, and it's called, what is it called, man? This thing where it prevents sudden sounds. I don't know what that's called, I'll put it up on screen, but it does this thing where if you put it in transparency, and if there's a sudden sound that happens, it's able to block that. So it's kind of good for your ears, protects it.
Yeah.
And Sony has, like, of course, all these complicated features around transparency and or adaptive transparency and things like that, but Bose has that feature, so that I think is a very meaningful difference. Other than that,
you can also set up ANC modes on the Bose, so you can have one for commute, one for, I don't know, sleeping, one for working, whatever it is, or
spatial mode.
Yeah, and you can cycle through them from the headphones, so you can have a differing strength of ANC as you go through them, which is kind of nifty. If you're someone who has a lot of devices that you connect your headphones to, then you're gonna love this. Is a device name readout.
Rowan Kevin's S25 Ultra, Rowan's MacBook Pro, Kevin's iPhone, Kevin's Z Flip 4, Rowan's iPhone 2.
You're going to immediately know what they're connected to. You don't have to keep searching for, is it connected to this one or that one or
and
whatever.
It's funny that in 2025, with so many AI agents and whatever, voices, Bose is still the only one who has it. And they've had it for 5 or 10 years. So
just don't get it.
Yeah.
That's not the only thing. When connected to multiple devices, what I really dig about the Bose is that if you press the power or pairing button once, it'll tell you the device it's connected to. You press it again, it keeps cycling through all the paired devices.
Correct.
So if you want to just switch, you can do that straight from the headphone.
But multi-point, there is the features and there's the performance.
Yes, that's something we need to talk about. That's only stuff that you realize when you start using the headphones for longer and longer and longer and connect it to different kinds of devices. But what I've noticed is that multi-point doesn't work all too great on the Bose. Well, for example, you have it connected to your laptop and your smartphone, and you'll be listening to something on your phone. What it'll do is it'll pause automatically. You hit play, plays, pause. It's like the channel is still open with that other device, even though there's nothing playing on that one. It feels like there's something coming across on that line, so it kind of takes over.
Yeah.
And so this is not just an issue that we face. This is something that the internet is full of when it comes to Bose and not being able to do multi-point as it should be done.
Yeah.
So the only fix, at least the fix that most people are enthusiastic about, is actually turning off multi-point and then using that aforementioned pairing button to cycle through your devices whenever you need to switch to another device. So there's multi-point and then there's multi-point. So
one thing the Bose does provide you is Snapdragon sound, and that's a suite of codecs from Snapdragon, the aptX lossless, aptX adapter, etc., which gives you nice, high-quality, high-res sound. The thing to know about that is, A, it works only on Android devices that support it. So if you're on iPhone, you're not getting those high-res experiences. And B, LDAC, the codec that Sony provides, is far more ubiquitous on Android. So you're likely to find it on a Samsung phone as well, for example. Whereas on the Bose, on a Samsung phone, you'll probably be capped at aptX and not higher. And that's not the only thing that Bose does. Bose, of course, Sony has a bunch of smarts, but Bose does this thing when you wear your headphones, it gives you a chime.
Yes.
And what it's doing is automatically calibrating for your ear canal.
Oh, really?
And you're getting a custom sound experience.
I didn't know this.
You get a chime, and they're using that sound and the things that are reflecting back off to kind of tune the headphones. So that's something unique that Bose has. So most people get a consistent experience on the Bose.
Nice. Clever. And comfort? Both of these are not uncomfortable. They are definitely more on the comfort side. But the Bose has comfort in the name, QuietComfort. And for me, for a long time, they have been the most, if not the most comfortable headphones. You've had mixed feelings, I know, in the past.
No. I mean, I don't think anybody can disagree unless they have very different ears that Bose is comfortable.
It's a personal thing.
I did like the XM5 a bit more because it was lighter clamp-wise.
Yeah.
How the XM6 has gone for a slightly heavier clamp, different shape of clamp, but still slightly heavier.
Yeah.
So on balance, I would kind of agree with you there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And the case, Bose has a much smaller case, even though both are foldable.
Yeah.
Just, the shape of the case, there it is.
Yeah.
But speaking of the case, and now we'll go on to what Sony does better than the Bose.
Because bigger is sometimes better.
In this case, yeah.
In this case, you have a nice magnetic clasp and you're done. Whereas on any old zipper case, you gotta do...
Yep.
Oh, I need to do that.
Yeah.
So 3 seconds of my life.
That was wasted. That was just wasted time.
I could have
there.
learned a new language.
How many megabytes of data? Okay.
Yeah.
So you think the Sony looks more premium than the Bose?
Yeah, the Bose just looks like Bose to me. I mean, it could be a 2022 Bose, which is... Yeah, I don't know. It feels premium, definitely. In the hand, it feels solid and not creaky at all. But looks-wise, I don't know. I'm not saying this is a looker. This is no Bowers and Wilkins, let's be very honest.
I wanted to say, neither of these are really, screaming at me whoa, luxury, premium looks design.
No.
Not really.
Fair.
Yeah, but okay.
Draw. But
moving on.
The Sony does really perform on phone calls.
Yes.
It's one of the best phone calls. The XM5 have been.
Yeah.
The XM6, there is still some debate about it, but they're still on that level for me. Correct. So I haven't had any kind of bad experiences.
Yes.
And now they include mute controls.
Correct. So on phone calls, these guys have the Bose beat.
Yeah.
Better performance, better controls.
Here we go. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Whoa. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Then on transparency, we talked about Sony has adaptive transparency. It can adapt how much sound it's letting in.
Yep.
That's a bit different from what the Bose does. It has LDAC we talked about, but it also has LE audio, which gives you the LC3 codec, which is lower energy, and it has wider compatibility now. Sony does seem to be a bit reticent with trying to implement it. They make you jump through a few hoops to enable LE audio, but you can do it if you want to. And extras, man. So this is a choice also between smart and simple. The apps, Sony's app was so unwieldy that they had to add a front door to kind of paper over the fact that this app is so untidy. So they have an initial screen where there are only 4 settings, and when you hit more details, you get this whole
world opens up.
You see the mess inside the house. Whereas the Bose app is much cleaner.
It's much cleaner. Fewer options, but again, depends what you need.
Correct.
Then there are a couple of extra features on the Sony that you don't get on the Bose. Stuff like being able to use the headphones while they're charging via Bluetooth, of course. There's no audio over USB. Let's be clear on that. There's also better fast charging on the Sony.
Yeah, 3 minutes is 3 hours. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Not sure what it is on the Bose. We'll
Yeah.
put it up on screen. And there's also multi-point, but with pull connect. So you can switch devices a bit quicker using that pull connect feature, although the Bose does have that button to cycle through. Again, each have their own. And the controls.
Yeah.
So we always felt Bose had good controls. They had all buttons,
Yeah.
and then they went ahead and messed it all up.
Yeah.
The nice slider for powering it on and putting it into pairing mode.
Gone.
Made it into a button. It is much slower to start up now.
My God.
Yeah.
There's so many times you start up the Bose and you're thinking, oh, maybe these are dead.
Correct.
And then they start up.
At some point, I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to get something else.
Yeah, right.
Just if you're in a rush, these are not it. And then they are very slow. You have a ton of people complaining about that. There's that. Then they've added this touch-sensitive volume swipe slider thingy on the headphones, which also
fine, but
yeah, it works.
But in a swipe implementation, I prefer the Sony.
Absolutely,
it's much more responsive, no latency, reliable compared to the Bose.
Yes.
Any kind of swipe is going to have issues, but Sony is good.
Another quick note on sound: both of these headphones sound pretty decent out of the box for consumer, popular bass-heavy headphones. The Bose does have a bit more mid-bass compared to the Sony, which has a bit more sub-bass emphasis and sounds a bit cleaner in that area. But the Bose is more mids forward, which means voices and guitars, they stand out just a little bit better to my ears. So out of the box, both have their positives and negatives. However, one big positive for the Sony is a way to find your favorite sound, which is your Find My Equalizer. And if you're somebody who's a tweaker, you get a 10-band custom EQ in the app. You can tweak the sound to your heart's content, and these headphones respond pretty well to tweaking.
I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. When I get high. I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. When I get high. I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. When I get high.
That's it.
What are we picking?
So, I've been a long-term user of the Bose, and I've always loved it. But with the recent hiccups, with the multi-point situation, slow startup, and that volume control finicky situation, I'm leaning towards the Sony, man.
No, same.
Yeah.
Like Sony's up to its game in ANC.
Sure.
The design is different. It's bringing something more fresh.
Yeah.
And I really like the fact that Sony took 3 years to bring this out and didn't bring an incremental change after a year. I think more companies need to do that. Apple and other companies need to do that as well. I think for me the choice is clear. It's Sony. The only reason I would say Bose is the comfort, because that is one of the most important things for headphones.
Yeah.
If it sounds good, ANC is good, but comfort doesn't work, there's no point.
Yeah.
So if you feel, go ahead, try them both out, see what feels more comfortable to you. But otherwise, I think we have a winner.
It's a clear winner. Yeah, there we go. Again, thanks to Sony for sending out their headphones. Bose we bought with our own money. This is an independent review, as you can tell. And a big thanks to you guys, our viewers, our subscribers, and people who financially support us, either by buying our merch or by contributing to Patreon or our YouTube membership. And a special thanks to these tested folks, and an even bigger special thanks to
these Fuck Montier patrons and YouTube members. That's Paula, Raz Panda, Rachel, and Jay. You guys are extra special.
You've been flagging down 2 flagships.
We've been DHRME.
Do we?